Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Lisa and I'm also known as Job Coach Germany. Welcome to Career Coaching Drop-in session number 35 already. Wow! Today I would like to dive right into the topic, and today I thought that I would like to highlight the differences between a cover letter and a motivational letter for you guys. So feel free to ask your questions in the comments below if you have any, and maybe you can let me know whether you've already come across a job ad when somebody was asking you to send a motivational letter along. So first of all, let's find out when you can actually come across this motivational letter and when someone is asking you for that. There are different situations when motivational letters are necessary to send along with your application. So first of all, a motivational letter is more personal than the cover letter. And as you all know, the cover letter is being used for the formal letter to address the hiring managers or the recruiting staff, right? So the HR staff. And in this cover letter, you normally also write about your motivation for that particular position that you're interested in, or for that particular industry, the interest in the projects of a particular company. Whereas the motivational letter is a lot more detailed and it is way more specific and it's even more personal than the cover letter itself. And the motivational letter, first, when you're looking at your entire career, at some point, you can let me know, when did you start working? So here in Germany, it's quite common that we are doing some sort of internship during our high school years. Yeah, so when we are still in school, that's when we are starting to have our first work experience. And that's when we're heading to a 1 week or 2 week internship. However, it's also possible that you stop with high school in Germany. So maybe some of you have already heard about our educational system. And normally when you want to do an apprenticeship, then you start your apprenticeship at the age of 16. That's when you're leaving normal high school and you're then going to another school where you're learning everything that is really important for your career, for your job that you've chosen. And basically you are learning the theory that is related to the practical experience that you're gaining at your employer during your apprenticeship, for example. So, and if you're choosing this path in your career, rather than, for example, going to what we call gymnasium and doing your A-levels and then going on with university, well, basically, if you're doing this apprenticeship path, that's when you're applying also. So with a cover letter, your CV, and maybe also with a motivational letter, but this is not as common. When you're choosing the path of doing your A-levels and then applying for university, then it can happen that the university is asking you for your motivation, why you want to study that particular study course, that particular program. Yeah. And this is one version when you can write a motivational letter. This could be, so either for your internship, but rather the first stage when somebody might ask you for a motivational letter might be for a specific study course, for a specific study program that you are applying for, that you want to be doing. And then later in life, it happens that some companies are asking you to write your application and also send a motivational letter along. Or, for example, if you're in the situation that you don't find any job ads online for a particular company that you would actually like to work with, that's when you're writing prospective applications or also unsolicited applications. And once you are writing these, then the motivational letter is even more interesting, then, because it's all about you writing and explaining why you would be beneficial for that company and why you think you are a perfect match and why that company actually fits to your goals as well. Okay, so there are different steps in your career when you can come across this motivational letter. So either it could be for an apprenticeship, but rather not. Then for your study course, yeah, there are certain study courses when you are supposed to send a motivational letter, or for prospective or unsolicited applications, yeah, or obviously if a job ad states that they want you to send a motivational letter along, that's when you're supposed to send them. Also, if you're, for example, interested in doing an internship at some point, and you cannot, maybe this company is not advertising any internships, but you really want to gain some experience in that field and with that company, that's when you can send motivational letters along as well. Okay, so basically, when we have the entire application package and you are including a motivational letter, it basically means that we have one page with the cover letter, then one or a maximum of 2 pages for your CV, or what we call in German Lebenslauf, and then you add a 4th page, which is the motivational letter. Okay, so, and if, for example, a university is only asking for a motivational letter rather than a cover letter, and they state that send us your motivational letter and no cover letter, then it might be that you can also use 1 up to 2 pages for your motivational letter, 1 or 1.5 pages. That's the advice that I always give. But normally, if you include it in everything, then you have 1 page for the cover letter, maximum amount of 2 pages for your CV, and then the last page is the motivational letter, and then you can add all of your certificates, for example. Yeah, so if you only have 1 CV, that's when your package looks like that. Cover letter, 1-page CV, and the 3rd page would be your motivational letter. Okay, so, and basically you need to set up this entire package that it looks really aligned, yeah, so that you are consistent, for example, with your format, that you're consistent with your colors, with your fonts, with the font sizes, and with, for example, if you're using icons, that you're consistent with that as well. If you are, once you are signing all of the documents, because in Germany we're signing the documents, right? So for example, you're signing the cover letter on the bottom left, that then you want to be signing the CV on your bottom left, and you want to be signing the motivational letter on the bottom left as well. Okay, so these are the things that you need to keep in mind. Just be consistent with your format as well. And you can, if you are including your motivational letter, be a little bit more, yeah, you can shorten your cover letter in this case. Okay, so the cover letter is all about your motivation for a company as well, but you can be more general and then use the motivational letter to go more into detail, go more into personal experiences. So for example, you could think about writing about a specific skill that they're asking for within the job ad, for example. So they're asking for team spirit or something like that. And then you're using this keyword from the job ad and you describe your team spirit that you're having with a specific example, okay? And then if you wanted to go more into detail in the motivation letter, you could describe a specific project that you've been working on where you have showcased team spirit, okay? So this is how you can address this entire situation, and or how you can address this entire topic of sending a motivational letter. You should be very careful that you're not contradicting what you're saying in the cover letter and the motivational letter. Everything should make a round picture, as we call it. Yeah. So format wise, both letters are structured in the same way. They're quite similar, yeah, but the main focus content-wise is different, okay? So more general in the cover letter, more detailed in the motivational letter. And then the motivational letter should always be about the topic that you are thinking of, why you want to be working there. So what is your idea behind that? What motivates you to work there? What are your personal goals? And why are you eager to work with that company? Okay, and the motivational letter gives you a little bit more space for your individuality. Okay, so you can show more of your individuality, of your personality in the motivational letter, because you have more space. You can be a little bit more precise, you can be more specific and go more into detail. Okay, so first of all, you could think about why, or you could write about why you want to start working with that particular company. Or if you are a student, you can talk about the university. Why is that particular university interesting to you? Yeah, and here I always recommend think about the values of that particular company. Think about the mission and the vision of the company. This is something that you can address, okay? So you want to showcase not only what you have done in the past, all of your academic background, all of the work experience that you were able to gain over the years, but also you want to match the new position that you're applying for, or the university course that you want to be studying, with your personal development. So why do you think that this particular position is going to help you with your development? Why is this study course or this particular position within that company aligned with your personal goals? So what is your vision of your career? And this is what you're explaining in the motivational letter, and you're matching your vision with the vision of the company, or with the mission of the company, and everything like the values that the company presents, yeah, represents. Then also showcase in the motivational letter that all of the skills that you have gained over the past years, and all of the experience and knowledge that you have, and all of your interests, whether that is in your work life or even in your private life, everything that you are fond of, this is what you're explaining in the motivational letter. Yeah, so, and if the personal examples fit to the position that you are aiming for, then of course you can include that as well in your motivational letter. Okay, and then obviously what you want to be doing before starting to write in the first place is doing your research. Research everything that you can find about that particular company. And by researching, I mean finding everything that is not only on the homepage, but that you can find in the details by clicking through different links or public relation posts, for example. Many companies always have posts that they are sharing every day, that they're sharing every week. Maybe they are being interviewed. Maybe you can watch videos on YouTube, or you found them in the news, or maybe they have just been granted a huge fund by the government, or anything that you find in the newspaper or anywhere in the news about the company can be very, very helpful for you to find out why you're actually interested in that particular company. And maybe you know that already beforehand. Maybe you have, for example, found, or that you've been really a huge fan of a particular product, and this product, you are so convinced that this product is so good and so valuable that you are recommending it to all of your friends and family. That is a really, really good reason why you want to be working with that particular company, if you are applying for that company, right? So just think about that. Are there any products out there that you are so convinced of using and that you like so much that you are recommending to other people. Well, these companies that are producing these products are employers. And why should this employer not be your future employer? And now think about that, because this fact that you are so happy with their products can actually be really, really helpful to write in your motivational letter. This will definitely, make you stand out, and obviously the employer will want to read that. Yeah, they love people, they love employees that just feel aligned with their product portfolio, for example, that just have the feeling that they are fond of these products as well. Okay, so also what you want to be doing in your motivational letter is highlighting everything that you think is important from your CV. Yeah, so everything that you want to highlight from your CV is something that you can discuss further in your motivational letter. And always keep in mind that you want to write about specific exercise or specific examples that are related to the position that you're applying for. Okay, so if you're writing an application that is a prospective application or an unsolicited application, then you obviously can kind of create this position that you're applying for. So really think about the title, think about the task that you want to be doing and how the company can benefit from that. And then you obviously highlight all of the different aspects of your CV and how they are matched with the task that you want to be doing. This is a really, really perfect part that you can address in the motivational letter. And obviously you want to highlight your interest in that particular position. Why this position? Why this company? Why this industry? What are your goals and how are they aligned with the goals of the company? And why are you the perfect match basically for this? Then format wise, there are no big differences between the cover letter and the motivational letter. As I said before, you need to stick to the same format so that everything looks aligned, that everything looks like you have chosen a continuous format, font wise, font size wise, color wise. Okay, and then obviously also with the space in between and whether everything is left aligned or not. So be really specific and stick to one format here. Okay, so then let's go more into the detail between these two, the cover letter and the motivational letter. So from the writing process, basically, we're starting with a subject line. Okay, so the subject line is basically, or let's go one step back. If you're writing the cover letter, you know that in Germany we have this specific form that we're using for official letters. Yeah, so it's called DIN 5008, DIN 5008, and that's what we're using for official letters. And that normally looks like you're writing your address, then you have a little bit of space, then you're writing the company address, and then you have on the left hand side, for example, you're writing the place or the location where you are and the date. And these two addresses, so yours can be on the left-hand side, can be on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side. And the company that you are addressing will always be on the left-hand side. Whereas the date and the location where you are will be right aligned. Okay, so and then we are starting with the subject line. When you are writing the motivational letter, we don't have this address stuff because it's only the third page. Okay, so it's only added on top of behind the cover letter and the CV. So you already have this header, and we don't need that for the motivational letter anymore. So with the motivational letter, we start with the subject line right away. So now with regards to the cover letter, the subject line has a specific name. So it's, for example, it could be the application for project manager. Yeah, so this could be And Jamie is here from City Starlings. Hi, thank you very much for joining in. I'm talking about the differences between cover letters and motivational letters today. So I greatly appreciate that you're here. So if you're having the subject line in your cover letter, you are writing just basically the subject line of the job ad as well. Something like application as project manager or social media manager, whatever kind of position you're applying for, you normally find that in the subject line of the job ad already. So you're simply copying that. With a motivational letter, you can be more specific, and I would highly recommend for you to be more creative here, so that you can, for example, use a very individual heading, something like my strength or the overview of my strengths or my motivation, something like that. If you don't want to be that creative, you can just write motivational letter. That is fine as well. But with a motivational letter, you can always be more creative, more individuality. That will always make you stick out, make your application stick out. Yeah. And that's what you want to be. You want to have an advantage compared to other candidates that are applying for the same position, for example. And then underneath the subject line, we have a little bit of space again, and then we have this salutation or the form of address. Yeah. So dear Mr. and Mrs., but we want to address a person that has a real name. Yeah. So we're not just writing dear sir or dear madam. We are writing the name, the person that we are addressing. And normally you will find the person that you are addressing on the job ad as well. If not, you have to do more research to find out who's the person that is working in HR that is probably reading your application. And if you don't find that out, you can always call the company to find out whom you're supposed to address, okay? And you are using the same name and salutation in the motivational letter, okay? So here you want to be very consistent again. Use the same information from the cover letter also for your motivational letter. Sorry, I need to drink a little bit. Oh, this is something that we call in German, I have a frog in my throat, Frosch im Hals. Okay, so then after the salutation in the next line, we have our introduction, okay? Yeah, okay. So Jamie is asking, so Jamie from City Starlings is asking what kind of companies would want a motivational letter, more conservative ones? Rather not. The motivational letter is more for companies. It's really rare if a company is asking for a motivational letter in the first place. But I would say that modern companies, startups, for example, want to learn more about your motivation. So it can be that these younger modern companies are asking for a motivational letter, okay? But they will state that. So in the job ad, you will find a specific sentence where they say, please send your application, including a motivational letter. Yeah, but rather, for example, if you don't have any job ad and you are writing a prospective or unsolicited application, that's when you want to be using a motivational letter, okay? So you make up your mind what kind of company you are applying for, but they don't have any job ads out there. So that's when you're writing your unsolicited or prospective application, and that's when you want to include a motivational letter. Also, when you're applying for a university degree, for a university course, some university degrees or study courses are asking for motivational letters as well. Yeah, but it's really rare nowadays. I think it is going to be more, it's going to develop more into the direction of sending motivational letters and not so much having the focus on the cover letter, because companies want to find out more about your personality, more about your individuality. And that's how they can get a little bit more of a feeling of what kind of person you are if you are sending a motivational letter. So normally they won't ask you for that, but there can be, so I see a trend with modern companies that they are asking more for motivational letters. So, and then can this be more adventurous for expats who don't have many recommendation letters? Yes, it can. Yes, that's a really, really great idea, a great advice, Jamie, that you're sending that, because, for example, if you are from the United States or if you are from an English-speaking country, job reference letters are not that common or even illegal, yeah? And then you could use a motivational letter to explain more about your background, because obviously your former employer has not done so, because it's not common, yeah? So that's a really, really great advice. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, so with regards to your introduction, you want to be writing more about the first motivations, why you want to be working with that particular company. So in your cover letter, you're already writing a little bit about your motivation, but now you can always go more into detail, yeah? So maybe you are so convinced that the product portfolio that they are having is great and that you're using all of their products. That's what you can write there. Or maybe you are really, really fond of a specific social project that this company is doing, and you're so interested in that, and you can write that. You can use that as a starting point, okay? And then from there, we go on with the main part, and where you're writing in the cover letter more about your technical expertise with specific examples. You are very short and precise. And in the motivational letter, you can use that to go more into detail. So pick the same technical experience, technical or the skills that you have, and an example, but be more specific, and be always really careful that you don't contradict what you're saying in the cover letter, okay? So you can choose a specific project, for example, that you want to be talking about. That's what you can use in the motivational letter. And always think about your personal background. Think about your why. Yeah, so why do you like that particular career? Why do you like that particular industry? Why do you like the way how this company is working? What are your successes? What would your former colleagues say about you? And how did you like working in a particular team? Why do you think you are a great fit? This is something that goes into the main part, yeah? And always think about that. Don't repeat everything that you have said in the cover letter. No, be more specific. Pick a specific example, yeah? And then last but not least, we have the outro or the end, or kind of like the summary, but it's not a summary. So in the cover letter, we are very formal, we are very friendly, very confident as well. And we're looking, into a bright future, as I would say. So in the final sentence of our cover letter, we normally write something where we are saying we look forward to meeting you for further discussion of the application, for example, yeah? And if you're writing everything in German, we always avoid the conditional clause. So what we call in German Konjunktiv, Konjunktiv 2, so conditional sentence, but in German part 2, Konjunktiv 2, this is something that we avoid in the cover letter, okay? And the reason behind that is the conditional sentence will always work with if, then, but we are confident here, and that's why we don't say if, when, we just say, so we are cool, you are cool, let's be cool together, okay? So you are really, really strong. You have a strong ending of this letter, and you want to keep this mindset for your motivational letter as well. And maybe, so in the cover letter, we normally write in the final sentence when we can start, that we're looking forward to meeting these people. And if they're asking for, then we're also writing about our salary expectations, okay? That's something that we don't include in the motivational letter. We want to write that we're looking forward to further discuss that, yeah, to further discuss the motivation or the benefits for both sides. However, you want to include kind of like a last final motivational aspect why this would be your dream job, Okay, so list all of the things that you love about the company and pick one of these lovable aspects and write them in the final sentence of your motivational letter. So let me just quickly have a look whether anybody had a question here on Facebook? No, nobody. So that was all about that. I hope that you all enjoyed that. And Jamie, thank you very much for being so active here and asking these questions. So this was all about the cover letter and the motivational letter. I hope to see you guys next week again. And for the meantime, feel free to sign up for my newsletter that is available every Friday. And Mojo is here, so but now I'm leaving. So thank you, everybody, and bye-bye. See you next week. Bye.